What's up?
All right.
So we're live. We don't know what we're doing.
Well, with regard to being live, we don't.
We don't know. Yeah, with regard to being live,
And some other things.
we really don't. In terms of streaming all this stuff, but we're trying to get this going on like Folio's channels, even maybe on my personal channels. I'm not sure exactly where we are right now, but we're live and we're doing something.
Let's get
And
out. Let's put some content.
yeah,
Talk about some stuff.
yeah. Let me share the screen here and we can make this the focus. Look at that. All right, cool. So first up, we've got the news of the day is Bitcoin. And it's just like one scroll of Twitter and it's just 20,000. Everybody's just celebrating. That's a big milestone.
You know what's great is you can't short Bitcoin. So it's not like, when Tesla hits these giant numbers and everybody's like battling over it and making fun of each other or whatever. It's just everybody's just happy with Bitcoin because you either hold it or you don't.
I know. You can short it like in the futures,
Yeah,
futures contracts, but it's not, you can't really short actual Bitcoin. And so you're right. It's like the only people that aren't excited about this are the haters.
Right.
That are missing out.
Yeah. You know what? I'm missing out. I have Bitcoin, but not nearly as many as I had. I bought 10 Bitcoins at $100 and sold them at 600. Major gain, huge gain, but I wish I still had those.
It'd be nice to have, it'd be nice to have $20,000 instead of $600 a few times, huh?
Yeah, 10 coins, so 200,000.
It's real money. Coinbase is down, or it was, and it's like every time there's a massive move, Coinbase, it seems like Coinbase has problems. I just don't know that anybody can prepare for the scale of some of these moves, these breakout moves. We've got a huge spike. You can see that's just one day there. I mean, it was 19,400. As soon as it got through 20,000, it just smoked higher. It's like a new level.
That's wild.
So we thought it would be cool to jump into like Folio's data on this and just understand this isn't about price. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what like Folio does is monitor social media data and look at how many people are talking about different things. And so this is how many people are talking about investing in cryptocurrency, and you can see that we're starting to see like a really, really big resurgence here. Nothing compared to what was happening 3 years ago, but really big, 123% year over year increase in the number of people talking about investing in crypto.
Yeah, that's sort of the pace, right, for that quarter. Big move up, definitely. It's not as high as it was, obviously, back in 2017 when it rocketed. But still very strong move, and it's getting to be about half that level, which is pretty crazy because that was back in 2017 was when a lot of people were hearing about Bitcoin for the first time, right? That was sort of the, hey, guess what this is, and now it's well known and breaking through.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to look at. It's the winners here: Ethereum, Bitcoin. And then you got some of these just like the other altcoin stuff.
Yeah,
has just really fallen off.
Right. They were cool when Bitcoin was killing it back in the day. Like, well, what else can we make money on? And these altcoins are like, well, Bitcoin might be up 10% today, but we're up 80% today. And everybody's like, oh, missing out FOMO, but I think all that kind of went away. And now Bitcoin's got to lead the charge back into that world.
Yeah, but what happened was last time it was Bitcoin led the way last time. So you wonder if these altcoins will follow suit. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. But Bitcoin, you can see, once again, like this is a pretty good. Now this This one's a little more, this one's almost done. This quarter's almost done. And so people talking about Bitcoin or buying Bitcoin up 57% year over year. So the reason we wanted to bring this up is there's, a lot of chatter about the price. But we wanted to bring some data to the table in terms of how many people are actually talking about this stuff and talking about buying it and how pervasive it is in kind of the conversation. We're not even close really to where we were 3 years ago, but you can see it getting there.
Yep. Now you love these bar charts. Can you do the line charts? I'm kind of more of a line chart kind of guy.
Yeah.
So this is the Folio dashboard. Really, it's a small uptick there, but it's getting there. Put the daily bars on. Let's just see what it looks like on the right there. Let's just see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice little move up. And so, that's the moving average. You can see it lags behind daily. Obviously, that's just how the math works. But that's a pretty big little spike. Pretty big spike there. Very nice. I bet today's going to be off the charts. So this is recorded after midnight each day. So these will hit. The data will hit tomorrow morning. For today, but
it'll hit Thursday morning, but we'll watch it. And somebody wanted to know, do you think Bitcoin will raise much in terms of price? I think, it's like one of those things where it breaks a high, and I really feel like those type of moments can go either way. It can like blow off and create like this psychology of we made it and now what? And so, once people start selling after a big breakthrough like that, it can reverse really hard. But on the other hand, it's always good when an asset reaches new all-time highs in price, because there's not really anybody above that waiting to sell so that they could break even. So that's a long-winded way of saying,
I don't know. I tell you what, my money's on.
I don't know.
I think it can run. I really do. I think that it'll hit, once it starts hitting each successive number, more and more people will be talking about it. More and more people will have FOMO, want that easy money. And I think it could really run. Now, then it hits some other level, 25, let's say, and then you might see what you're talking about, where people are taking profits. It's going to have resistance on the way up with that, but I do think it is more likely to get a little bit more momentum to the upside.
Yeah. No, I guess I agree. I don't know. It's probably the popular opinion today, so I'll go with that. I think, for just putting this content out there, we might as well stay popular, because cryptos aren't our normal forte. And so, I do want to get into our normal forte, which is, individual stocks and companies. And so I thought we should go over Peloton, because there's people in my feed on Twitter today just talking about how Peloton is the gift for Christmas. And I have to say, it looks like they're right. You look at this again, this is the number of people on Twitter talking about actually buying a Peloton or installing the Peloton app or things like that. So really, like, the key metrics for the company, we're measuring how much people talk about it in real time. It's kind of like we're running a survey 24/7 of millions of people in terms of consumer demand for these products. And you can see Peloton, really, this is almost over. This quarter's almost over. It goes through December 31st. The one that's shaded is the current quarter, and projects where it's going to end up. And you can see 205% year over year growth. So as much as you saw Pelotons going crazy last Christmas, it's what, triple.
Right. And if you look at that bar, so last Christmas, 20 Q2 there, one more, that one, that if you would, get rid of all the bars on the right and zoom into that one's a monster bar, right? That is huge. It's way bigger than anything else. And then it just explodes from there. I mean, the lockdowns, you can't go to gyms, you can't work out there. You got to do something at home. Obviously that was big, but now we're pushing even higher. So that's really cool. That's very strong. This is the Peloton, the gift that gives back. You get your wife one of these, and She's going to be in shape, better in shape, all that. I think that's what that commercial hinted at. Everybody got a little mad about it.
Everybody got mad because he wanted to help his wife look better, or not look better. I think he wanted to help his wife like achieve her goals or whatever.
Right.
And everybody thought that he was being something. I don't know. It was just so crazy. But the stock is up like 8-fold since then. You can see, this is what's cool. Like Folio purchase intent shows a massive spike in consumer demand. This is on a 90-day moving average. So you had plenty of time. And then stock surges from 70 to close to 140 and is now hanging out at really extreme heights. And so the other thing I want to look at is, because we can do this, is look at just the macro trend that's driving this, and that is working out at home. And you can see, I mean, a lot of people, Landon, would say, wow, that's really down from where it was, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's going to, anytime you have this hopefully once in a lifetime event, it's going to be an outlier on the chart. But look where it was before that and look where it is now, right? Yeah. I mean, even just click on it, see what the numbers are here. So you click on that, just about 500, click right before the big spike, 200, right? So, I mean, you can see that's plus 150%. That's a big move. And so it changed people's mindset. It's created new habits. And I think that's really the key.
I agree. And then we start to get into this, and I think this is one of the coolest things like Folio can do, is show you where the consumer is going. And you can just see it. I mean, it is working out at home, and virtual trainers are at the top of the list. Well, what does Peloton do? Working out at home and virtual trainers. And then, spinning, cycling for exercise. These are all growing. Whereas new gym memberships down 87% year over year, attending group fitness classes, down 67% year over year. So you can just see where the consumer is going here. And, there's nothing necessarily new about it. We're just showing off a little bit what our data can do, but it's good to understand not just what a stock does, not just what the stock's price does, but what is the consumer demand behind that company's products? And then even zoomed out even further, what's the consumer demand for the general behavior that company's trying to capitalize on?
No, I agree. That's really important. And, one other thing I'd like to look at is Peloton's happiness. So can you go back to Peloton's data and scroll down just a little bit? Let's look at the happiness.
Yep.
Okay. So people that aren't familiar with like Folio, I'm going to just kind of interpret this chart real quick. So the red is negative mentions, green is positive mentions. Those are moving averages. And then that purple line is the ratio between the two. So what percentage of people out of those who had an opinion, what percentage were positive? Yep. Generally speaking, when we see a huge influx in new people talking about a product, the happiness goes down. For whatever reason, the expectations were high. They got a referral from a friend, whatever it may be. They had really high expectations. That's why they're adding this new product or trying this new restaurant, whatever. And happiness often goes down. So to see that huge run up in Peloton and not see a decrease in happiness is a very, very strong signal. It's sort of an outlier with like Folio data. So even though that purple line is basically flat, it's sitting at 80% happiness, which is really high, by the way, higher than iPhones. You would expect it to go down. So that's an outlier. That's also a positive signal for Peloton.
I agree. No, it's crazy to hold 80% with the massive scale that they've added in terms of just number of people in the classes. They just have such it's crazy, because I love to go to some of the group cycling stuff myself. The music's good, the instructors are normally good. You're in a group and it can be fun to compete and those sort of things. And there's 20, 30 people in the room, and it can be pretty high energy. Which I think I had never done at Peloton, so I think it's probably hard to replicate in terms of being surrounded by the experience. But everybody I talk to that has a Peloton says it's awesome. Like, you're competing, the screen is big, it takes up a lot. I think there's good music, but the cool thing is you can totally customize your experience on that. You can say, I want a 15-minute workout. I want it to be R&B from the 90s, and I want it to be this, and they'll find a class for you
That's cool. I
that
didn't know
works.
that.
And then you got a leaderboard, but they can take 10,000 people in one class. Whereas the local group fitness class, they got 35 bikes. Like, that's the deal.
Right. Right.
You know?
And
So,
and it's in your like exercise room at home. It getting there is 2 minutes versus you got to get in your car and drive to the class and all that. I mean, it's a huge difference. And a lot of people, when they're working out, the big hurdle is actually going to the gym. It's the time commitment.
yeah.
So if it's right there, you're more likely to do it.
No excuses. Would you invest in Peloton now or wait? So let's get into this. I actually want to show people
Okay.
using the Thinkorswim platform, which we love. We're going to create a trade in Peloton. Okay. Let's create a trade where it's not investing, because I'm not going to get into investing right now on this particular time that we're doing this. Okay. First of all, if you aren't yet, go to likefolio.com/drop. Put your name and email address in there. We send out an email every single day during the week that highlights 3 different trends, some stocks, some different stuff. It's extremely valuable. I think our open rate is something like 55%, which is unheard of in this industry. So it's really good stuff. So likefolio.com/drop. But Landon, let's create a trade on Peloton, because I think we can blow some people's minds real quick on how little you can actually risk to get involved in the stock market and create a trade. So let's just say, you could almost flip a coin, because I'm not really trying to give a directional signal here on Peloton. I'll say they got a lot of good things going for them. So let's just say I'm bullish on Peloton.
Let's go bullish.
Let's say I'm bullish on Peloton. I think Peloton's going higher. Walk me through, Landon, what you would do. I'll drive on the Thinkorswim platform. You just tell me what you would do to create a trade where you're risking less than $100, but can make some money.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to look. Their next report, so their quarter is almost ending, right? And their next report is estimated to be early February. I bet if we do some February, if we do a vertical in February, we can get a nice trade in.
Okay.
And that's kind of out there a little bit, so it may not be as fast as some people like. So you can do this with any month, but let's pick February just for kicks. So yeah, those February 19s, perfect. Stock price is at 132. You know what? I'm going to just go right in the middle here. I'm going to put the current price right in the middle of what we would call a coin flip bullish, which means I'm going to use the 130 and the 135, because those are on both sides of it. So on the Thinkorswim platform, you got calls on the left.
Just to interrupt real quick. So what Landon's saying is the stock's price here, 132, right? So he's going to go to a trade that has a call option on each side of that, the 130 strike price and the 135. All right. So sorry, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what we were doing.
I may go too fast. Sorry about that.
No, it's good.
So we're going to try to put that right in the middle, and it's actually almost exactly in the middle right now. So that's perfect. So what we're going to end up doing is buy the 130 and sell the 135. And this one, because the strike prices are $5 away, I don't think we're going to be able to stay under $100, Andy, unless we want to get really aggressive. Do you want to get more aggressive and kind of go out a little bit, or is 250 okay?
We can risk 250. I think that's good.
All right.
Let's just show people what that's like.
So you click on the buy 130, you click on that ask price, it's $17.60. We're not going to do that. That would cost a lot of money. They cost $1,700. And that would just be a call. Instead, we're going to turn this into a sort of a bet. So we're going to actually do 2 trades at the same time. We're going to sell that 135. And on Thinkorswim, the way that you do that is you click on the first one, which Andy just did. Now we're going to hold control and click on the bid of the second one. So hold control, click on that. Now we've pulled in a second order into there, and now it combines it into one. So now we're buying the 130 call, selling the 135, and we're going to do that all at the same time, right? So that is what they call a vertical. And because the strike price it's actually exactly in the middle right now, 132.50. That's pretty cool. We call this a coin flip because you got the current price is exactly in the middle. It can go either way. In theory, you should have about a 50-50 chance of this making money or losing money. The cost of this is $2.18. So remember, the 130 that we were thinking about buying, or the first part of the order, was $17. Well, since we're selling the 135, we're getting about $15 for that one. So the difference is that $2.20. So we have to buy this vertical for $2.20 per contract. And if you remember, a contract's 100 shares, so really that's going to equate to $220. Now, what's cool about that is this can be worth up to $5. That's the most it can be worth, and that's the difference between the two strikes. 135 minus 130 is $5. You're buying something for $220 that can be worth up to $5, and the least it can go to is 0. So this isn't like shorting or selling calls or something, or selling puts. This is the most you're risking, is $220. You could make $280 because it can be worth $500.
Let's look at it.
So we're gonna do the analyze. Cool. So this is the risk plot profile inside of Thinkorswim. It's on the Analyze tab. The way that Andy got to it was he right-clicked on the order and go to Analyze. So he's going to change the date on this so that you can see what it looks like at expiration. Now, you don't have to hold this through expiration, right? You can sell it 5 minutes after you get into it. You can sell it tomorrow. You can sell it in 2 weeks, whatever. It will get to expiration eventually, and it will be worth somewhere between 0 and 500. Now we're buying it for 220, and Andy, as he scrolls over, you can kind of see where the price and value of this is. And if you've never seen one of these, this is a sort of a strange chart. If you've never seen it, the stock price is on the bottom axis, that x-axis, and the profit or loss on the trade is on the y-axis over there. And so you can see where the current price is right now. It's that dotted line that goes up and down sort of in the middle of the screen right there, 132.50. The break even is just a little bit below that little red line. And so everything to the left of that means that Peloton did not it went down too much, right? It's 130 or below means that we're going to have maximum loss, which means $220. And Peloton can go to 0. It doesn't matter. It's 130 or below. They're all the same. We lose $220. At 130, we start to lose less until we break even at 132.20. And then we continue to rise and rise and make more and more money until we maximize our profit at 135. That's the call that we sold. And that's where we're going to make $280. And again, Peloton can go up as high as it wants. The most you'll make on this trade is $280. So if you kind of think of it like a bet where you're risking $220 to make $280, it's possible that it lands somewhere in between, but most likely it's going to be negative $220 or positive $280. And if you think that the stock's going up, then this is a fantastic trade to make, because you're risking less than you're making. The stock's right in the middle. It's a coin flip. I really like this trade.
I do too. I think it's cool. And I love the idea that people can get started investing and trading, knowing that even though the market's hot right now, even though maybe Peloton's too high, a lot of different things in terms of valuations you could argue. But no matter what, the worst I can do on this trade is lose $220. Peloton could go bankrupt tomorrow, and I would only lose $220.
Right.
Unlike investing in the stock, which is a $132 stock, where 100 shares cost you $13,000 just to kind of get in the game. You can do this for $220 of maximum risk. You have a chance to make $280. And it's really just a bet that Peloton goes up. I like it. I would go ahead and take it over here. I could press confirm and send. I could see all of this stuff. I could see my max profit 280, my max loss 220, the buying power effect, my resulting buying power in this account goes down by that $221. And, I can send the order if I want to. So I'm not going to right now, because we got to check a little bit on what the rules are in terms of putting through trades live, but I like the trade. And I think it's a really cool way to trade. And we wanted to make sure that we showed that to everybody, because it's a little bit of what, like Folio we do this all the time. We look at trends consumer trends, how they impact the individual companies, how the individual companies are responding, how the stock looks to a trade, and then all the way to creating, really what some people might call a sophisticated trade, but we think of it as really a simple way to trade because it's pretty binary in terms of the outcome. You either lose 220 or you make 280. It's pretty sweet.
No, I love it. It's a really cool way to trade, because if you want to buy 100 shares of Peloton, you're risking $13,000 right now, and you could lose 10, 20, 30, 40% of that over a few months. But if you do this trade, it's $220, and you can do multiples. If you want to risk more than that, you can do multiple contracts. So it's really very customizable, and it allows someone to invest or trade on a company that maybe is out of their reach or out of their comfort level as far as share price, but you can just put $200 on it. And you do, even if you got a huge account, you can do tons of these on lots of companies. It's really fun.
Yeah, I agree. It's super fun. And so that's it. That's what we're going to do today. We wanted to experiment a little bit with our live streaming capabilities. Well, I guess we'll find out if if this was on Twitter, if this was on YouTube, where all it went. But appreciate y'all joining us. We'll do more of these. Make sure you follow @LikeFolio on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever you're most comfortable. Just look for LikeFolio, and anytime we start pushing something out, you'll get the notifications. So, and again, likefolio.com/drop if you'd like our daily emails. So with that, Landon, thanks for joining me. That was cool.
That's fun.
Let's see how this actually ended up.